Hi everyone, welcome to the Dee-Brief with Dr. D. Real talk, real strategy, real leadership, one insight at a time. I'm your host, Dr. D, and this is your space for bold conversations, soul-deep reflections, and truth that transforms. Whether you're an executive, an entrepreneur, or an everyday change agent, this podcast is for you, navigating both public success and that private struggle. Each episode, we take a deep dive into emotional wellness, grief recovery, faith, leadership, and the tools you need to rise with clarity and with purpose. This isn't just strategy, it's healing. It's a calling. This is the Dee-Brief with Dr. D. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Dee-Brief with Dr. D. I am your host, Dr. D. And I am excited to have with us someone who I've known for, I think, a couple of decades now. Yes, really, it's been a couple of decades. But just is an amazing person, has just an amazing testimony and journey of faith and resilience. And she's going to be one of our guest speakers at our upcoming conference. So before I go any further, let me introduce to you Dr. Ronya Foy-Connor. Hi, Ronya. It's nice to see you.
Hi, Dr. D. It's good to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for joining us later this month at the conference. So before we get to that, I want you to introduce yourself. So if someone were to ask you, who is Dr. Ronya? What would you say?
Well, I like the brief introduction that you gave. I would say definitely a woman of faith, and that has grown over time for me. Um, Professionally, I'm a counselor, international social worker. Also, I do policy awareness. And most recently, principal of Foy Global Consulting, which is a lifestyle wellness company. So I do counseling, talk therapy, and lifestyle wellness coaching.
That is amazing. And I love to hear the term international counselor. That really stood out. Everything you said, that stood out. Because when I think about, I was just talking to one of my sister friends, and she does a yearly retreat, a Women of Faith
Mm,
retreat to Dubai. And she was just saying that
wow.
postpone her trip. So when we hear international counselors, so many things that are happening in the world and so many people that could use your support. So thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
So we are having an amazing conference on March 21st here in New York City. This is our 2026. It's going to be a global conference, really honoring entrepreneurs, honoring leaders. I like to say that we like to protect the leader behind the mission because as leaders, we keep going, we don't stop.
Right.
No matter what's happening in our lives, no matter what is going on related to grief and loss. I just did a masterclass last night and I had someone on there who lost 5 people in the past, I want to say 4 years, similar to my story. And she was saying that she just constantly has to keep going because she doesn't feel like she can stop.
Wow.
So this conference is going to focus on us pouring in to the executives, pouring
Yes.
into the leaders, helping them to know that they're not alone, but giving them tools and strategies that they can walk away with and they can
Yeah.
utilize to help them on their journey. So talk to us about why this conference is important for you and why you're participating.
Yeah, I love what you said. It speaks to the heart of who I am and what my current business is about. So this is why I'm participating. I do believe that as leaders, we find so much joy in the work that we do that sometimes we can take it a little too far.
Yeah.
Because in life we need balance. We need balance in everything that we do. And during this Women's Month, especially as women, we need balance because we are the professionals, mothers, spouse, community leaders. And oftentimes we put ourselves to the back of the line. We don't stand up for ourselves. We don't take the time that we need for ourselves. And it's something that's very important to me. Um, I had mentioned to you that when my daughter was diagnosed with childhood cancer, I had the struggle of deciding, how do I still work a job that I love and take care of her? And some people told me that should have never been a struggle, put her first. But when you love what you do, you want to try to manage everything. So I think this conference, it's so timely. It's ripe for the day and age that we live in, because there's so many burdens, whether external, what's happening in the world around us, and internal, ourselves, our families, our communities, our friends. People are dealing with a lot, and they need a space where they can learn some techniques and hear from others who have similar stories. And I know that's what this conference is going to bring.
Yeah, oh, I love that. Absolutely. Thank you so much for expressing it that way because I love what you said about balance because in my classes, I teach that there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's life, right? And then it's work because
Sure.
balance makes it seem like they're equal and they should be
Right.
footing. But when you think about it, your life comes first because if you lose your life or something happens,
Mm,
your work will just replace you. So how can we have work-life balance? So I love that you used the word balance. It reminded me of that.
right.
So you are an international counselor, social worker. Tell us about the vision when you establish Foy Global Consulting and the type of clients and people that you help and support.
Sure. I think it's basically what you said there in terms of lifestyle. So I developed this lifestyle wellness because I don't want people to think that you just do wellness, good habits, proper sleep, proper eating, that you just do it for a moment and then you don't tackle it again until next week. It really is blending throughout the day. So I started the company to help individuals with talk therapy and counseling to learn how to manage all aspects of their life into small moments of joy.
Yeah.
Yes, into small moments of joy, just as you mentioned. So that's what I'm doing with this company. It's a passion of mine because it's really important to see how every moment of our lives matter. What we choose to do in the moment shapes who we are for the future. So in the company, I look at sleep habits, what we call indulgent behaviors. So if you drink alcohol or if you have some type of behavior that you do to an excessive amount, how can we regulate that? Social connections, because it's so important for our mental well-being and our health. Also, family connections, those who are closest to us. How do we navigate relationships with them? So it's just looking at the whole person and how we can manage everything that we have to do in life.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It sounds like you focus very holistically and everything that makes us who we are, mind, soul, spirit, body. And that's important because a lot of times we'll go see a counselor or a coach or a therapist for one thing and something else comes out
Right.
and that person may not be equipped to help us. But I love your holistic approach because it sounds like you are really touching on those major areas of our life.
Yes, definitely so. And
Yeah.
I would say that the global aspect comes in from just my love of culture, my love of all things related to diversity and what makes us unique as individuals. And I bring that into the practice as well. So there's never like a one size fits all for everyone. Everything is very tailored to the individual, what your experience have been, what your lifestyle was like growing up, what you envision for yourself for the future. So everything is tailored to specific needs of the individual.
That's amazing. So it's not a cookie cutter approach at all. It's really customized, and that's what people need. So I know you have so much experience, Dr. Rania. Tell us about what you want to offer at this conference. What do you want people to learn from you and for them to walk away with by hearing your speech?
Well, this conference will be very unique for me because, as I mentioned here, I'm accustomed to counseling others. I'm accustomed to helping people through their lifestyle challenges. But this conference for me is allowing it to be more personal. It's allowing me the opportunity to talk about how I coped through my daughter's cancer diagnosis and what were some of the steps that I took in order to make sure that I could stay sane, healthy, well, that I could still have the energy and the vibrancy to be able to help others. So, not to give too much away, so
Yeah.
people can listen, come to the conference and learn some techniques, but for me, it was really understanding that I cannot be everything in the moment, even if I have a deep passion for it. So if I want to be the best employee and I also want to be the best wife and I want to be the best mother, if one side of the equation is kind of drawing me to give more energy, in this case, it was give more energy to my daughter, then I don't have the capacity to give the full energy I want to in other areas. And I think for executives, for leaders, even for mothers, for parents,
Yeah.
that's something that we struggle with, is just trying to give our best at all times in every area. And it's not possible because who's feeding into you? Who's giving into you? In the moments that I was nurturing my daughter when she was sick after another round of chemotherapy, you know, I didn't have the energy to then say, okay, Ronya, time to go exercise,
Right.
or for me, I will disclose this. I was stress eating,
Okay.
so I was trying to eat healthy, but because of the high levels of stress, my body was craving sugar, carbohydrates, and I would give into that because that's what was sustaining me, even though it was unhealthy for that moment. But as I tried to make another choice, I felt that I couldn't. And sometimes we have to give ourselves that grace. We have to give ourselves that room to say the space that I'm in, I cannot manage everything that's around me. But we make sure to go back once we're in a new place to healthy habits.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too, because, one thing that we also teach in our programs is about self-care and the real meaning of self-care. Self-care is not going to get your hair done and going to get your nails, and that's regular maintenance. Self-care is really taking that time to care for yourself internally, to care for
Right.
yourself holistically, similar to what you said, to recognize your capacity, right? Because that capacity of trying to do everything, you can't. What is it, the master of none, or something? I forgot that phrase.
Right.
You know what I'm
Like
talking
the jack of all trades and a
about.
master of none.
Right, exactly. And that's what it feels like when we're trying to have capacity for multiple things,
Yes.
really needing to focus. And I had to learn that too. And I think we all learned that the hard way. You said it's hard for leaders, and it's hard for women and mothers especially, because people depend on us. So thank you. I can't wait to hear your speech. So for those who are watching now, if you were to give some words of encouragement, some words of wisdom, what would you leave our audience with?
Yeah, I would say that we know inherently, deep down inside, the areas that we need to fix. We know what we're lacking. We know what we need more of in terms of wellness. So if you're always exhausted, your body is asking for sleep. And we try to fight through it sometimes. So I would leave the word of encouragement: don't fight through it. If you need sleep, sleep. If you need to be hydrated, you need to drink water. And you would think these are simple
Right.
things to say, but it's not. It's not. It's something we need to be told to do. Even something like deep breathing. I was watching something recently that said your average individual does not know how to breathe properly. We breathe, kind of hunched over, short breaths, but
Yeah.
we really need to be taking like deep inhales and exhales. So just the basic maintenance for ourselves, for our temple, for our bodies. We need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Well, I am looking forward to seeing you over here in the States when you come at the end of the month.
Looking forward to being there.
It's going to be amazing. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today and for leaving some words of encouragement.
Thank you, Dr. D. I appreciate you and all the great work that you're doing.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. This has been another episode of the Dee-Brief with Dr. D. We will see you soon.
Well, thank you for joining me today on the Dee-Brief with Dr. D. If this episode spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs a word of hope and clarity. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with our social media community. And remember, healing is not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't have to lead on empty. You don't have to rise alone. You were built to lead, to heal, and to thrive from the inside out. Until next time, lead well, heal deep, and walk boldly. This is Dr. D signing off.